Now to Japan, where the lower house of Japan's parliament has appointed the country's first female prime minister, Sanae Takaichi. The leader of the Liberal Democrat Party will, however, form a minority government. Analysts say Ms. Takaichi's election is a tactical shift by the LDP to counter the far-right Sanae Party, which has been rising in popularity. Her immediate challenges would be to address Japan's high inflation and cost of living. I'm joined by our tech correspondent, Shima Khalil. Shima, it is a historic moment, isn't it? Tell us about Sanae Takaichi. It is indeed a historic moment because, for the first time, Japan has a woman at the helm. Sanae Takaichi is now Japan's Iron Lady, which has long been her ambition, being an admirer of the late Margaret Thatcher. But with her leadership, it means that Japan's politics has taken a shift to the right. Takaichi is a staunch conservative with long-standing stances. For example, she opposes allowing married couples to have separate last names. She is against same-sex marriage, and she does not support women being in the line of succession in the imperial family. During her campaign for the LDP leadership, she took a hardline stance against immigration, saying she wanted harsher punishments for immigrants or foreigners who break the rules. As you mentioned, this is meant to appeal to conservative voters who have recently turned to other parties like Sanae. The optics for young women and girls watching are remarkable, seeing the first woman become Japan's leader, but the core of her politics remains unchanged. I spoke to a group of young women. One said it's hard to identify with her because she is still compliant with the patriarchal politics of men. Another said we shouldn't put her on a pedestal because she's not challenging the old system. So when it comes to women's issues, don't expect much change and expect more conservative, right-leaning policies with her in power. Tell us more about the immigration question and her position on China. That's right. Immigration has become a major issue because in recent upper house elections, the far-right Sanae Party used it as a key talking point. They conflated the record number of tourists visiting Japan with foreign residents and immigrants, spreading a false narrative that immigrants are taking jobs or getting preferential treatment. Remember, Japan is a very homogeneous and conservative society. There's concern about how immigrant workers will integrate into a country that's aging and will need immigration to sustain its economy.
When it comes to foreign policy, Sanae Takaichi is hawkish. China and South Korea are going to be watching closely and worrying because she is a regular visitor to the controversial Yasukuni Shrine, where Japan's war dead, including Class A war criminals, are buried. This has long angered both China and South Korea. Both countries have said they will continue to work with Japan, but expect it to maintain good relations. Shima Khalil, thank you very much. Now I'm joined by Professor Sanae Takaichi from the Graduate School of Management, Informatics and Innovation at the University of Shizura. Thank you for being with us. How do you think Japan is going to change under the new Prime Minister? And how significant is it that she's the first woman in this job? Well, people keep portraying her as first woman, right-wing, but I think much of the Western media has simply repeated what the Japanese media says, which leans left. Her policies are actually about normalizing Japan's stance, not swinging to the far right. She's trying to balance excessive pro-China or left-leaning tendencies. You can see the positive reaction. Japan's stock market is rising because she's clear about expanding fiscal policy to revive the economy and get things done. Her cabinet selections show she's focusing on old Japan, not factional politics. How do you think she'll deal with the US given Donald Trump in particular? Well, that's always unpredictable, but she's supportive of Abe's policies, which maintains strong ties with the Trump administration. Trump's approach is unpredictable, but she's forming a solid cabinet with experienced figures like Misan Heisan and others who were once her rivals. As for China, she's trying to normalize Japan's position. Japan has long lacked an anti-espionage law. She wants to change that and strengthen defenses against threats, especially from China. And about her as a person, she's quite interesting. A former heavy metal drummer, scuba diver, and car enthusiast who once worked in television. She's chosen similarly dynamic cabinet members. For example, her economic security minister is a former boxer from the University of Manchester. Professor Takaichi, thank you so much for being with us. This is BBC News. We'll be back in a few minutes.